Hey there, quick video on the anatomy of callbacks. Either you are creating a function that utilizes a callback when it's done, or you are using a function that expects a callback so it can tell you when it's done. If you haven't worked with callbacks much, you've probably done a lot of the latter, worked with functions that have some callback. Here is an example of one. We're using this checkIf foo function that we pass in a word. And then in our callback, we look to see if we received an error, and if not, then we output the response. If I evaluate this, node script, success, you have foo. That makes a lot of sense because the name of the function maybe, and the word we passed was foo. So we didn't get this error. However, if we changed this to bar, fail, you have no foo. So then this function was returned with an error here if this is bar. This is standard callback mechanism where callback, this function here as a parameter that you pass in, this is the convention, is that you always have the first parameter as the error, and then any number of parameters after that can be the data that is returned from the function when it's done. Again, this is the callback. We write that ourselves. We write the callback, not the function that expects a callback. We write the function that's a callback, and the callback is our custom logic for our application. So we can continue on our merry way. As soon as checkIf foo is done with word, we can continue in this context as opposed to down here. So as soon as checkIf foo is done checking word to see if it's done and it doesn't spit an error, well, we get to log the response. So that covers using a function that utilizes callbacks. If we, pass it a callback, it's going to use it. It's going to utilize it. But how do we write them? We check our checkIf foo function. You can recognize we have these two parameters, the word parameter, which matches the word parameter when we used it down here, and a callback parameter, which matches this entire function that gets passed into here. This ends up getting stuck into here. And then in the execution of this, when we say checkIf foo word, these two things get passed in, and it says if word equals foo, run this callback that got passed in where the first parameter is null and the second parameter is success, you have foo. Else, callback, first parameter, utilize that error parameter and put some text in there. Don't even give the response. So you can see this error response, error null, response success. But if we do want to express that the return of, or the end of our function, the termination of our function is in an error state, we don't say null here, we put something in here, some message or something. And then we don't even have to bother with the rest of the variables here. It's really the error is the most important thing, but depending on your function, you could put some interesting data here. But the important thing is just this convention, is that when you are utilizing a callback in a function you're writing, when you use that callback, the first parameter is going to be the error, and the rest can be whatever you want. And when you are utilizing a function that expects a callback, and you pass this callback function in, make sure that first parameter is error, and check for it. Now, not all JavaScript out there follows this convention, but the vast majority of it does. And if you follow this convention, you will begin to see a lot of other things that do. And You will have a lot less mental overload when trying to reason your way about these things. I hope this is helpful, and I may make another video in the future to express how important callbacks are for managing execution flow in JavaScript when asynchronous operations happen. Thanks for watching.